Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another WXR. Do not adjust your set. I am the stay-at-home dad gamer Richter Hammer, finally coming to bring the hammer down on WXR. And joining me is the usual band of misfits, Marcus Shadow.
Here to show you the light.
Chriz aka the Mole.
Feel the momentum.
And James Phoenix.
Rising from the ashes, for Raw is Phoenix!
And with that, we should kick it over to him for the news.
Thank you. All right. And in case Hammer's wondering, that's my catchphrase for this show. I scream that every week. Anyway, so we got some news going on for the week here. For those that are vigilant in the posting dates of the episodes here, you should probably be aware that we are recording this the evening of Tuesday the 16th as opposed to Monday the 15th. The primary reason for this being we wanted to make sure we covered this week's 2K14 live stream, which we will be speaking about a little later on. So this will also include news from Tuesday the 16th before anybody freaks out and says, hey, they're recording news from the future.
Isn't that already established when you mentioned the live stream, which is news, and it was on Tuesday? Redundantly redundant.
Oh, redundancy is redundant.
We're off to a great start.
Totally.
Moving on.
And yet it's a better start than Raw.
Sad but true, because Raw existed.
We'll start with HBK.
This is true.
Well, we're starting with The Rock, so we win.
Via satellite.
Via satellite. Because The Rock, it's been announced that The Rock is going to star in the new 3D disaster movie, San Andreas.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Hercules, and I was like, wow, you know,
no,
it's
he's
not
in
bad
that too.
beforehand.
No, 3D disaster movie, San Andreas. No relation to Grand Theft Auto that we know of.
See, I thought he was referring to you, Richter. I was going to say, if Richter's The Rock and he's coming via satellite, isn't that Zordon?
A group of reviewers with attitudes.
Anyway, moving along. So, yes, a new movie, San Andreas, which will start filming early 2014, which people have pointed out means the chances of The Rock being available to do anything in WWE leading up to WrestleMania are slim to none.
So normal.
That's fine, he can't wrestle anyway.
So, there we go. So, The Rock will be in that movie. Stay tuned for that. Should be a lot of fun.
Which means the rocks will shake.
first ever 3D. It's supposedly the first ever 3D disaster movie ever made, supposedly. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
So I'm curious. He's done some good action movies, then like really shitty family comedies, and now disaster movies. Once he does a horror movie, has he finally hit rock bottom? And then he can either go up or just become alcoholic.
Rock bottom. I see what you did there. Possibly, I don't know. All I know is in this film, he's in earthquake-ridden California trying to get across the state to find his daughter.
Or as I said, The Rock's life story.
Yep.
I don't know. In other news, former WWE superstar Caval and TNA superstar, independent superstar Loki, as he was known on that circuit, has announced his official retirement for professional wrestling.
Oh wow!
I'll see him in 4-2.
There you go.
How old is he?
Not that old.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
I guess it wasn't total nonstop action.
Not really.
Old enough to remember when it was called wrestling.
Ouch. Burn. Anyway. In other news. What else we got? Let's see. In other news, for those that don't know, meaning those listening, because the people here in the conversation know, because I've mentioned it 6,000 times, Bray Wyatt is injured.
6001.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, this past Saturday at a live event, Bray Wyatt landed wrong coming out of the ring and fucked up his leg. Specifically, he bruised the holy hell out of his calf muscle and can barely walk on it.
So that is the ambulance.
Yes, that is why you might have noticed on this past Raw, he sat in his rocking chair and did nothing else.
Could be worse. He could be Psycho Sid.
This is true. Or Sin Cara, for that matter.
Psycho Sid was worse.
It was.
Oh.
So anyway, yes, injured Campbell. So he's supposed to be out of action for about 4 weeks, which means there is a 90% chance he will not be wrestling at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, in which case the ulterior plan is to basically have him stalk Miz for the next 2 months to build up to their eventual match, which will likely be at the Survivor Series.
Which is a little bit of a shame because the Hell in a Cell, if they were to do a Hell in a Cell match, which is probably they weren't going to, that seems to lend itself more to the Wyatts than it does most of the feuds going on, like Ryback v CM Punk.
This is true. Yeah, well, there's only 2 Hell in a Cell matches. There's Orton Bryan, and then there's the Punk Ryback match. I should say the Punk Ryback Heyman match.
Is Cena v Del Rio not one? I thought Cena v Del Rio would be on.
No, because the only Hell in a Cell that was supposed to be was Orton versus Bryan, but they made the last minute decision, which they announced on Raw, that the Punk Ryback match would also be in a cell.
Fair enough.
Yes. You have to remember, Cena just came back from injury. He can't afford to get beat up in a cell.
Can't he?
No, but the cell would help sell it.
Hey,
He may not be able to afford it, but we can.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I'm sorry. Even the Hell in a Cell cannot overcome Cena's no selling ability, which is why he's not in it, because he no sells. Get it?
Hey yo.
Yep.
Moving on.
I like this because sometimes I don't like people in WWE being assholes, but I fully support this type of assholery.
Oh no.
I don't know if anybody knows, but if anybody watched the Divas match on this past I do not believe it, not yesterday's Raw, but last week's Raw.
Okay.
You would have noticed that there was a Divas match that featured what was it? It was Natalya and Eva Marie, and the other one versus the heels.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell the Divas are anymore.
Yeah, it's been news.
Yes, but anyway. So the idea being that apparently Eva Marie, one of the new divas, who you can see on Total Divas on the E Network, has apparently had a pretty high opinion of herself and generally been an arrogant bitch. So WWE, in terms of her wrestling ability, so WWE, knowing she was not ready and would embarrass herself, decided to put her on a match on Raw so she would look like a fool, be embarrassed in front of the crowd, be mocked and humiliated, and be taken down a couple pegs.
I approve.
On the same card featuring Ryback, who would have noticed?
This is true.
She's gonna feud with Ryback.
There you go. She's gonna be the first female Heyman guy. In other news, this has not all happened in the past week. The last chunk of it happened in the past week, but over the last month or so, Stephanie McMahon has sold a grand total of $8.6 million worth of WWE stock, a total of 1/3 of what she owned before she started.
I'm going to say, is this an example of embezzlement? She's been deliberately making the storyline shit with the McMahon-Helmsley era to drive the cost of the stock down to sell it to the people that she wants to. Then the second their storylines drop, their price of stock is going to rise up. No? Okay.
What?
It might.
Okay, then.
That's a distinct possibility.
What?
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Jim. That was logic. That was stock market logic. Making the storyline shit makes the stock drop in price.
This is true.
Right, which means she would be buying it when it dropped, so when the storylines got better and it went back up, she'd make more money. You don't sell it when it's... You don't...
It means it's gonna get worse. Just wait.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, the reasoning for this supposedly is she's using the money to build a new home and for other personal reasons. So.
Shit, she can give me some of that for personal reasons.
A new home, and it's going to be a Shield helicarrier with a giant nose on the front.
If it's a Shield helicarrier, doesn't it have to have a dog's head on the front?
Now she's gonna buy a replica Mjolnir for her husband Thor.
Yeah.
There you go. In other news, and I'm kind of sad. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Not confirmed, but there's strong rumors that in the near future, possibly around after the cashing in, I don't know, that Damian Sandow is going to turn babyface. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I really want to root for Damian Sandow because he's awesome, but I think he's only awesome because he's a heel.
It depends how they do it. If they can keep his gimmick going and just make it like a face version, like he's pointing out the stupidity of the heels, it could be kind of fun. I'd have to see how well he plays it, to be fair.
Am I the only one who thinks they want to do this because they want to call Aiden English up and have him feud with Sandow?
That'd be awesome.
Ironic you mentioned that, because when he was turning babyface, they mentioned that if he turns babyface, he will not be using the cartwheel celebration gimmick that he previously used, because that gimmick is currently being used by NXT superstar Aiden English,
A.K.A. James Phoenix.
aka the very model of a modern major superstar.
See? It's James Phoenix.
Yeah, please don't do that. My ears are bleeding. Please don't do that.
Could be worse. Simon could be singing it.
No, then it'd be sung at least on key.
Oh!
No, it could be worse. Marcus could be singing it.
Yeah.
Again, then it'd be more on key.
Oh, fuck. Moving on.
Yes.
In other wonderful news today,
So
I want to
professional.
take a moment to talk about the reason why it would appear that WWE is stacking the deck for their Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Apparently, it's because there's a lot of concerns that they've alienated their pay-per-view buying audience with the way they've handled main event situations the last few pay-per-views of basically non-endings. Apparently, back in Night of Champions, fans demanded refunds due to the fact that they paid for a finish that was completely erased and overturned the following night. Which have you never watched WWE before?
Plus, it was glaringly obvious from the fact he did a fast count. We noticed it watching it, and I bought the pay-per-view. I was like, oh.
Now, additionally, fans loudly chanted "refund, refund" after the non-finish to the Battleground pay-per-view in Buffalo this past week. So because they've handled main events that way, which are what they're largely sold on, poorly, they feel that they need to regain the trust with the pay-per-view buying audience, which is why there was an emphasis on guaranteeing that there would be a winner in the Daniel Bryan-Randy Orton match at Hell in a Cell.
You want to regain the trust of the pay-per-view buying audience? Take Triple H out of the equation.
Yeah. For those reasons, they brought back John Cena earlier than expected for a match against Del Rio, as well as a guaranteed new WWE champion in the third straight pay-per-view main event between Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. Well, they basically guaranteed a match, ending for the same match at Battleground. They are stressing that this match will be in a Hell in a Cell, which assures that there will be no outside interference, and Shawn Michaels is the ref to make sure that there's a winner.
A special referee inside a Hell in a Cell, and it's a Hell in a Cell. Yeah, they couldn't possibly interfere in Hell in a Cell. I don't know. It's not like the first one featuring Shawn Michaels had someone rip the door off and interfere.
Yeah. I was
It's
about
like-
to say, my reply to that was, it's gotta be Kane! It's
Yeah,
gotta
like-
be Kane!
Or it's not like the same guy, one of the same guys involved. Undertaker v Triple H inside Hell in a Cell didn't have Shawn Michaels as special guest referee, who constantly interfered.
That too.
But besides that logic, but I will say, finishers, we wish you well in your future endeavor.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of people who should be future endeavored, is it time for Marcus?
Not just yet.
Fuck you.
We'll get there. Also, that really, if we're gonna make Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell jokes, I know technically it wasn't a cell, it was a cage, I think, but would anybody be surprised if at the end of the match Shawn Michaels super kicked them both, and then Triple H came out and smiled, and then they called the whole clique down and they hugged?
I would say yes, because I don't think Scott Hall's appearing on WWE anytime soon.
Fair enough. Oh, speaking of that, that's a minor news thing. I didn't have it listed, but speaking of that, it's been rumored that Ric Flair just got out of rehab again, and he was apparently sent there after the whole SummerSlam Access debacle. So.
Woo!
Woo! All right.
Jet fly.
Rehab!
Oh, yeah. So, we do one minute of semi-TNA news, because we don't want to exclude them entirely.
Except for the part where you mentioned Loki.
Well, yeah, true.
I'm here to point out continuity to folks.
Continuity. Boom.
So Mole's our continuity alarm?
I am.
Can we disable him?
You have to reach over and smack it, Jim.
No, but you could
So-
gym it.
Oh. Anyway, continue.
Yes, after being a free agent for a time following the expiration of his previous contract, Hulk Hogan has chosen to sign a new contract with TNA due to WWE apparently offering him an insultingly low offer. Apparently, compared to other legendary guys that show up periodically like The Rock and Lesnar, the offer that Hogan received was apparently crap. And TNA, he thought, had a better offer, a significantly higher offer than WWE, so he agreed to resign with them. Although it was pointed out that even the total amount that Hogan was offered to return for a 1-year contract is less than what Lesnar and The Rock get for one match.
Damn.
I will say I disagree with that. Because as much as I don't like Lesnar and The Rock's okay, Hogan's as much, if not a bigger star for wrestling than The Rock or Lesnar ever were.
Pretty much.
And I don't really like Hogan that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, there we go. So, finally, for the news tonight, we're going to start off with the 2K14 reveals, discuss it a little bit here. Before I throw for the live stream, we did want to mention that during Raw, we did get the official announcement of the official The Streak mode for 2K14. In this mode, you will either have options to either try to break or defend the streak, as well as view some statistics and other cool stuff related to it.
Oh, I thought the streak mode involved running in while you were CAW was doing a naked Midian impression.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Midian. But yes, in the streak mode, you can either choose to be a series of dudes attempting to defeat the Undertaker, who it has been stated will be at 2 difficulties higher than Legendary.
And he'll have powers.
And his powers will have powers such as you hit him with a finisher, pin him for a 2 count, and at the 2 count the lights go out, come back up, and he's behind you and tombstone you.
Yep.
And if you're in the, of course, defend the streak mode, you have to play as the Undertaker and effectively defend the streak against a series of guys to see how well you can do.
We do not have access to the powers.
You know, we don't know that, but
Yes, we do.
we do.
During the live stream at the end, they mentioned the streak mode, and one of the things they mentioned is they didn't give you access to those powers as Undertaker because it was something along the lines of when you're against Undertaker and you're breaking a streak, to keep with the tone of what the streak was, you need to be essentially, oh, why won't this guy die? I need to break the streak. Why? Whereas if you're Undertaker, you need to be like, oh my God, these guys keep coming at me. How can I defend the streak? And it needs to seem epic. Therefore, he doesn't have access to the powers if you are him. So therefore, the threat level seems higher.
Boo.
Fair enough.
I want
And
to
then
use them.
What's that?
I just said I want to use those powers. I'm disappointed that we won't.
We feel, Mole and I feel that they may give you a boost in abilities for the defense streak, because let's be honest, even as the Undertaker, going up against a bunch of people in slobber knocker mode, yeah, you're not going to last very long.
Yeah, considering one of the, quote, achievements or trophies that leaked was defeat 50 guys in one match.
But Mole came up with an interesting scenario question while we were discussing streak mode earlier today.
A joke.
It's a joke, but it's a valid question because I hadn't thought about that. When you go into beat the streak mode and you select your superstars, can you select the Undertaker as one of your stars? Because there's like 3 Undertakers if you get the Phenom edition, 2 if you don't. Like, literally, could you, like, choose American Badass Undertaker, and it's like, who's going to come out next? Who's going to be the one to defeat the streak? I am an American Badass.
Yep, and like I mentioned to Marcus with the joke, if Undertaker essentially beats you, do you still get the inevitable ding or whatever it is in the corner of the screen because the streak is ended? Thus, you did successfully break the streak. Because Undertaker lost.
But if you're
No,
the Undertaker,
that
you're also
just
successfully
errors
defending
out
it.
the game.
Yeah.
It's the it's like the logic trap from where the game doesn't know what to do. Oh, the streak ended, but Undertaker won, so the streak is, and it just locks up.
It turns the biker Undertaker into missing now.
Yes. And then if you pin him, it just erases your data.
Yes.
Is it wrong that this is the one game that I want Kane to have the Underfaker costume? But now there's a point to him having it. Give it back to us.
So with that, since we are discussing the live stream, I will go ahead and throw it over to who am I throwing it to for this?
Marcus, the Shadow.
In that case, I will throw this over to Marcus the Shadow to discuss today's WWE live stream, including apparently some notes on the streak and the new moves.
Not many notes on the streak. They just kind of mentioned it, and the fact that the next live stream is basically going to be them playing the streak mode.
No, that's two from.
Or is that 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one's 30 years of WrestleMania.
Oh, that's right.
We won't be covering the streaks on here now because we don't need to.
That's right, because the streak is going to be the day of release, effectively, or the day before.
I feel like the point that 2 weeks is kind of pointless because that is the release date.
Yeah, they do it. They do it 1 week. We're doing the streak the day before the game is released, and the week before that is 30 years of WrestleMania. Which, like I said to Marcus, we don't really need to discuss the streams now as news because it's all stuff we've discussed in the past and stuff people know. It's just a case of, oh yeah, there's little elements in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a live stream. Oh, go ahead.
Which means Marcus gets to take it away on our podcast with the final 2K14 news from this podcast. Marcus, make it epic. Bring it home, son. Bring it home.
Welcome to WWE 2K14 is Phoenix.
You've let us down, Marcus. You've let us down.
You're fired.
Hey, let's go with the theme song. I like the theme song. Anyway, so yes, they went over movesets, animations, things of that nature. They have about 300. Is it 300 plus, or did they say 300 exactly? New things they put in.
I think they said around 300.
Around 300. They've got new moves, reanimated moves, new taunts, reanimated taunts. They've added some OMG stuff. They've added a new weapon, or more accurately, they replaced one, but we're going to get to that. So I'm just going to go down a little list here. I have a list of notes. It's things that I liked out of it. So the first one on my list is new OMG moment, boot to the face against the ring post outside the ring.
Nice.
That was
Cost
kind of
one
cool.
finisher.
That was kind of cool. It would have been a lot more cooler for me personally if that wasn't the cutscene the game gave us every week with Alberto doing it to the Crispy in Universe mode. It's that exact cutscene of doom at the end. You must have seen it at least once.
Well, now Crispy can do it back to Alberto.
I'm going to laugh if he reverses it and does it back anyway.
That would be hilarious.
I don't know if that one's reversible, because they only mentioned one of them was actually reversible.
It will if Crispy tries it on Alberto Del Rio. That's the only time it can be reversed.
Alberto will reverse it and Crispy will break his foot.
You have to remember Crispy cannot be stopped. In my game, he's still in the process of was basically dismantle the entire XPound single-handedly.
True.
Whereas in mine, he's unstoppable except for Del Rio. And his own. But continue, Mr. Marcus. Mr. The Shadow.
So the next new OMG, which...
Our Doctor of Lightonomics.
Yes, the next thing is another new OMG, which you've seen 10 billion times because it's in the damn trailer. The Apron DDT also requires one finisher. Which, awesome. Nice. But to go along with that, they said there's a new drag animation. You can drag people around, when you have them in grapple. And you can now drag them to the ropes, press a button, and you'll toss them out onto the apron to set up for apron moves.
Convenient.
So you can now probably, I would assume you could probably now manually do Orton's apron second rope or top rope DDT into the ring.
Spike DDT.
Yes, spike DDT.
And I know I saw in the trailer, did I not see Orton doing a double spike DDT?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
they did not highlight that one.
Marcus, may I take one OMG moment, please?
Which one?
The last one.
No.
Oh.
I know which one you want to take. Yeah. You want to take the last one they showed.
Yeah, the one for my favorite superstar.
Oh, yeah, so the last one they showed.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to be the last one on his list, like if that was the most important. I figured the other one would be more important.
I went through in the order that I saw them.
Fair enough.
Yes, you may. So, yeah. So moving on to the next one, there is the long-awaited double finisher, or as they call it, the simultaneous OMG moment.
the 2 finger pokes of doom.
Yeah. Basically, you have to Irish whip both people into the same corner, and then you go over there and you can OMG them. It takes 3 finishers to do it.
Makes sense.
Makes sense because it's 1 per wrestler and an extra one just to give it that OMG oomph to make it more devastating.
Yeah, but I was going over that in my head and I was like, but the OMG that outright ends the match only takes 2. What the hell?
No, the one that broke the ring took 3.
Did it? I thought it was 2.
It took 3.
The only one that was a 3 was the ring break, or if you're not at super heavyweight, the superplex out of the ring onto the floor.
Fair enough. And then, and I know Mole probably squealed at this one.
Squeal!
Oh, this is the one you probably want to take since it's your favorite wrestler of all time.
Yes.
The specific one. Go for it.
Yes, there is one character-specific one in the game that they added new. You clothesline someone into the rope. You then press.
Over the rope.
Guessing it's. Yeah, I know he threw him into the rope and pressed it.
Yeah.
Because it was he pressed it to CM Punk. He was against the rope. He then pressed the OMG thing, which is probably triangle or whatever, which cuts to the animation. Undertaker's dive over the top rope is included because he clotheslines him to the outside, then runs off the back rope and jumps over. So they've replaced the actual move from the game with that now, because the old move where you used to dive over the top, let's face it was never spectacular, because in order to do it properly, you had to run off the back rope. They could see it coming a mile off and just ran the fuck off. Now you have no choice but to be impacted by it, which is a lot more impressive. It makes that OMG, because let's face it, when Undertaker did it in real life, especially the first few times, you were like, oh my god, he shouldn't be able to do that. He's a big dude. That's fucking awesome. One of the reasons he's awesome.
Unfortunately, it's Undertaker specific, so only Undertaker.
I wasn't about that part.
So did they actually call it what the rest of the world calls it and name it the Suicide Dive?
No, they called it the Undertaker Dive.
Yeah, they just called it the Undertaker Dive, which is what WWE normally refers to it as.
And it takes 1 finisher to do, and remember how I said there was 1 OMG that was reversible? Yeah, this is the one that's reversible.
So in other words, you can dodge and make Undertaker dodge himself through the table?
Or the floor, yeah.
Oh, he should go through the announce table.
If he dives that direction, he may, but I don't know if it's direction dependent or if it's always the same direction.
Well, if it goes the other way, he should crash through the fucking barricade, so either way.
Yeah, well. But yeah.
No, the other way is the ramp.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
On the steel. But yes, on the next thing they went into is new audio presentation, where they added voice to
specific... OMG?
Yeah.
The very last one, that's going to be at the end.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do all of them together. My bad.
Continue. I was just going in order that they showed up.
Yeah, I thought that was his favorite wrestler. I thought he was going to do
that. I thought I was talking about that one too. But anyway, new audio presentation. They've added voice to specific taunts, and they have the crowd chanting along. Like when Daniel Bryan does the no taunt, Daniel Bryan actually goes, no, 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 and the crowd chants along with him. Or like for Sheamus, when he does his taunt, he goes, fella! And they also added, like, for Sheamus's against the ropes where he smacks him in the chest, the crowd will actually count along.
Nice.
Stuff, little things like that.
If you get in the corner, Big Show smacks you in the holds a finger up and goes, shh, does it go deadly silent? And then he smacks you and everybody goes, ooh.
Hey, I don't know. They didn't show that.
If you play as Ryback, do you get a you can't wrestle?
I don't know, but you get the finish. Oh, Richter, you'll like this one.
Yo.
They actually voiced the taunt this time, so when you do the taunt, you'll actually go, finish it!
Nice. I don't know. I like James's idea. I want that Big Show slap one. I'll take it.
And also know since it's already in the game anyway, when Ryback goes out, they just pipe in the Goldberg chant.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Although I will say, I mentioned to Marcus, I didn't think that was too new. The Superstars doing it was new. The crowd doing it wasn't, because of Edge's spear. When Edge did the hand up in the last game, which is the one Crispy took, the crowd chant spear, 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 spear. However, the Superstar chanting it is awesome. Which you know which one I really want them to include?
What?
Every time you go to super kick someone, I want him to stop and go, I'm sorry, I love you, and then sweet chin music him like he did to Ric Flair.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be funny. Also, I feel like I need to ask Marcus Shadow.
Yes.
We know THQ didn't. Does 2K own an equalizer?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the intros yet, which you can go see on the official site and
Fair enough.
channel. But it sounds okay, I suppose.
Yeah, because that was the biggest problem. And in the last game is the crowd drowned out the fucking entrance music and the commentators.
Yeah. Hopefully they fix that.
I hope so.
All right. So moving on. There's new comebacks. They've added comebacks,
Nice.
including Kane. Yes, they gave Kane a comeback.
That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
They've added the Del Rio comeback.
Would that be a comeback or a caneback?
They added Ryback for a comeback. And they've added 2 comebacks, which technically kind of aren't comebacks. They're more cutscene finishers.
They're super comebacks.
It's basically, it takes the character's signature and finisher, puts them together into one epic cutscene.
But you don't get a full bar for doing it.
No, you don't. It doesn't put you into signature mode, and it ends with a pin.
Yeah.
The first one is
can end with a pin.
The first one is via pre-order only, the Ultimate Warrior.
So you wait for your opponent to hit you with a finisher, and then you no-sell and beat the crap out of him?
Yes.
Yes. And the second one is the guy. Go ahead.
Please tell me Ultimate Warrior's moves include him screaming out, electricity.
And the second one is the man who told WWE to fuck off, Hulk Hogan.
Which I actually agree with Hogan's being a comeback.
Yeah, that makes sense.
His looks awesome.
He has to Hulk up, block you, punch you in the face, whip you off the ropes, boot you, and leg drop you all in one move.
That's exactly what it is. He does a no, he does a you. Which is
Don't
like,
stop
awesome.
Hulkamania.
If it wasn't for the fact they put the finisher in there, I would say Richter would have to take that comeback. Just you.
No, that's not the one I'm taking.
I know. If he didn't have the leg drop at the end of it, I'm sure you'd consider it.
But he gets ass kicked in the beginning. I don't know if I want that.
I also don't think Richter would take that one, only because he plays with us a lot in multi-man matches. How often are we going to stand there and go, you know what, I'm going to allow this. Do your Hulk up. Go on. Hammer up. He'd be like, yeah, nothing could stop me. Boom, chair from behind.
Indeed.
Monkey flip.
You won't stop Funk's roll.
You monkey flip from James. James Phoenix ruining moments since
also, seriously, how the hell do we not get a comeback for Rey Goddamn Mysterio?
Because he's injured and irrelevant.
Oh.
Yeah, that's his comeback, is just making it to the ring.
There you go.
You do. What happens with Rey is you go to grab him and you go to rip off his mask, and underneath he's wearing the other mask and sets you up for the 619.
Doesn't he have a comeback? Wasn't he one of the first to get a comeback?
Was he?
I think he was.
I thought he was.
Okay.
He may have been. But
isn't Rey Mysterio the one you used, Jim?
No,
Morrison's?
No, I used John. I used the one that was John Morrison's in the first game. In this last game, I think I used the one that was Shawn Michaels.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure maybe they took it out anyway.
I think he might have in the first game. You're right.
Yeah. But anyway, so moving on, there is now a submission component to the resiliency skill.
Okay.
So the resiliency skill, for those of you not in the know, is it allows you for once per match to extend the pin meter, so you can kick out and press a button and it extends the meter. There's now a resiliency part of that. Again, you can only use it once per match, so you have to choose whether you want to use it for the pin or the submission. But when you're in a submission, when you hit the button, it reduces the submission meter to the point where you could possibly break out of it.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, no more bitching, Jim.
No more cheap stats, Joe.
Yes. But tied into that, they've added new breaking point submissions, and finally they make the one move I wanted as a breaking point submission, because it made no sense not to have it as a breaking point submission.
I know which one you're on about. You're on about Darren Young's camel clutch.
The one they didn't show?
You mean the one that the Aubrey idiot over there queued up incorrectly?
And that's why I addressed it. I figured we might as well.
What did he do?
He showed
the wrong move.
What move did he do?
He did a normal. I think he did a normal camel clutch, and the move itself was meant to be a modified version where you put the knee on the back.
Yeah, like a single arm clutch is what he showed him. Yeah. Instead of Darren Young's version, they showed Darren Young doing the regular version.
Yeah.
Oops. But no, the one that I'm excited about, finally, the Mandible Claw is a breaking point submission. Though I do have to agree with some of the people in the comments on this side. Where the hell is Mr. Sacco?
Gone forever, hopefully.
Yeah. Next, the one that everybody saw coming and I guess people were okay about it. Although I know Chriz the Mole is devastated because it replaced something he used every single fucking time he played an Extreme Rules match.
Yep.
They have added Baseball Bat, and Baseball Bat has buried Mop.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I approve of this.
I will say, like Marcus said, and I wasn't just saying that either because we had the Crispy here and I asked him to ask. I always put Mop in there because I found it hilarious to use a mop. It's like in the old wrestling games when we went backstage. I always found it hilarious to use fruit on people. Because it's like, oh, okay, you've kicked out my finisher. Boom, kiwi to the face. 1, 2, right?
Yeah. And now we go into the generic portion of the live stream where they just showed off new and reanimated regular moves and stuff. And
did they show the elbow of disdain?
No, that's a finisher. You have to look at Damien's Handouts video for that. They did not show any primary finishers. They showed some secondary finishers.
Okay.
But yeah, and Mr. Mole can feel free to add on to this if he wants. I just kind of wrote down the ones that looked interesting, cool, and or vicious to me that I would use. They reanimated the Last Ride, which doesn't seem that reanimated to me.
Fair enough.
They have a new move called the Apron Backdrop, which I will be fucking taking because that looks awesome. And it's exactly as it sounds. He picks him up and draws him on his back on the apron.
Nice.
They have a new tag team move, the Primetime Players Assisted Splash double team. Not sure what they're calling it in the game, but that's what it was. They have a new corner move, a full Nelson turnbuckle smash. It's basically a what's Miz's finishing move?
Skull crushing finale.
Yeah. It's basically a skull crushing finale in the corner into the turnbuckle.
Ow.
Yeah. They have a new standing double foot chest stomp, like the one that you can do off the turnbuckle, where you just drop on them with both feet. You can do that standing, just literally just jump on them.
I need to take that move.
You need to. Yes, that's. When I saw that, I said, "Yeah, Richter's taking that."
Yeah.
Just to be like, because that would just fucking kill somebody.
And new move they put in. I am totally taking this from Shield member Seth Rollins. The second rope STO facebuster.
Ouch.
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about.
But you're
or
not
he
a
STOs
high
him
flyer.
right into the second rope in the turnbuckle.
But you're not a high flyer.
I don't care. I want that move. And then the last one I have on the list is they brought back the turnbuckle powerbomb, but it's not ultimate control. It's actually a move now.
I will add on top of that then, like you said, the one I plan to take is Antonio Cesaro's twirling people around and throwing them.
The giant thing?
Yes. I will be taking that, where he grabs them and goes and then throws them. I probably will take that because it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's not the Cesaro version though. They even said they didn't reanimate it for him. It's the actual giant swing where they toss him and they don't turn him around like 20 times.
It wasn't the giant one. They mentioned it belonged to a wrestler that almost made the roster but didn't, so they just used that. Where they said it's the same thing. It just he doesn't turn around as many times, which is that's fine. I don't like long drawn out moves anyway. Yeah,
and it makes Cesaro look good because he doesn't just drop him; he tosses him. So it's not accurate, but it's okay. And the last thing on the list, the last thing they showed off, they held on to it because Aubrey, for whatever godforsaken reason, was holding out for 10,000 viewers. He only got like 7,500. New OMG moment. Spear through the Elimination Chamber glass tube.
Yep.
One finisher.
Which looked awesome. And I will say I'm surprised you guys thought he was my favorite.
No, I was doing that as a joke because I don't think you like Goldberg.
No, but I thought that was the moment you wanted.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that as a joke.
Yeah, I don't like I've mentioned to Marcus multiple times, I don't like Goldberg. He's the guy that ended Bret Hart's career.
Yep. But you have to admit that OMG moment was kind of cool.
I already said that moment was cool, and we plan to use it. Like, I know for a fact Crispy will probably use that, as he always uses Spear as his move.
Mm-hmm. Bless you. And again.
Sorry. Bless you.
To our XPound listeners, does anyone want to buy a slightly wet keyboard?
But yes, that does it for 2K14 news. That is the end of our 2K14 coverage. You will not hear anything from us until after the game comes out, at which time we will be doing a review. It'll be on the Gaming Zone, won't it?
The review, yes. The review will be on the Gaming Zone.
So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, back to Mr. Hammer.
All right. So instead of a usual recap that we do, because Raw isn't that great, we decided to have more of a general open discussion on the theoretically realistic things that we think WWE could do to make their product more interesting, or to bring it back to higher levels of viewership and episodic. Yes.
You forgot one little tiny little thing.
Okay.
We were supposed to discuss what we liked and disliked about the week.
Okay. Then we will do that first. We will discuss what we like and do not like about the week of wrestling.
Mole, you want to kick it off?
Okay.
Feel free to jump in.
I liked over on NXT because as people may know or may not know, I don't like RVD. RVD's crap in terms of skill. He was against that. Oh, what the hell's his name? Alden English. I forgot his name for a second.
Aiden English.
Aiden English. He was against him, and Aiden English actually carried RVD into a respectable match.
Ha.
I was like, ooh, and it was actually a pretty damn good match. I enjoyed watching it. There was not a single part of it I didn't enjoy it. Loved that. And what I didn't like during the week would be the fact I hated the fact we had the Divas match, and as per usual, it all resolved around AJ. I was like, fuck off. We have Tamina out there. Tamina, who's a better wrestler than AJ. We had Brie Bella, who's probably maybe as good as AJ in the ring. People may disagree. That doesn't matter. But in the Divas division right now, which is one of the problems I have, we have Natalya, we have Tamina, and people like that, and yet the focus is AJ, which AJ was enjoyable, but when you force her too much, she stops becoming enjoyable.
Cough, Cena, cough.
Yeah, at this point, she's Cena or Batman.
No, Cena's not Batman's not as bad as Cena.
He's worse.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, he's worse. He's worse with how perfect he is. At least Cena gets beat up now and again. Batman's allowed to show no weakness.
Fair enough.
But yes, okay. How about Mr. Host? Would you like to do your week?
Sure. One thing I liked, I actually got to see some of Raw. And
I like to see I got to watch it.
And,
I don't like the fact I watched it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the part I didn't like was when I finally got the my viewing source to work. It was during Triple H's 20-minute promo about himself, and I was like, "Oh, great time to come back, thanks." But I don't know. I got to see like very little, more than I usually get though.
Indeed. What did I like about the week of wrestling? I like the 2K14 live streams. What didn't I like? Everything else. No. No, I did like the live streams. I do like Aiden English. I wish I could watch NXT. I wish I would watch NXT, but I don't. I don't know. Pretty much the only thing I watch in terms of wrestling is Raw. So, and yeah, there's some enjoyable parts of Raw, but for the most part, as we've all stated, it's McMahon Helmsley era version 2. And it's as bad as version 1.
You're such a casual, Marcus.
What do you mean?
You call yourself a wrestling fan only watching Raw. That's like calling yourself a gamer and only playing Angry Birds.
Yeah.
And I insulted both Jim and Marcus with the same one. Swish. Technically Richter, but he's just friendly fire at this point.
Why'd you insult me?
Mr. Phoenix, your week.
I don't play Angry Birds.
Neither do those two. I was on about watching one show.
Well, the live stream sounded like it was good. I didn't get to see it, so I'm not sure if I can actually count that. But
You could say you liked the news. If there's any news you liked.
That's what you probably should have done, if you didn't mind me suggesting, Jim. And you can do it next week if you want. When you come back, the live stream's hosted. You can watch them when you get back.
I don't know. So, yeah, some of the I guess the news is okay. I'm trying to think. I did like WWE using their dickery to teach an upshot Devo lesson. I approved of that.
What didn't you like?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm gonna give because I can't decide. I'm gonna give a simultaneous like and dislike to Tons of Funk going ghetto because I can't decide if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
It's neither. It existed.
Anyway, seriously, Richter, what was up with that?
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, and I was just gonna say on the record, I also really like Brad Maddox. I just do.
I like Brad Maddox.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like he's entertaining and he's the bad guy, but he seems like he doesn't want to be the bad guy, and so you want to like root for him. It's kind of cool.
He seems like the guy that would try to bum money off of you and never pay it back. He'd be like, "Yeah, come on, just a couple bucks for a sandwich," and you're like, "You owe me for like 4 sandwiches. Yeah, I'll pay you back tomorrow. It's fine."
Yeah. Paul Heyman?
I will say to you, Jim, ironically, that's almost what I said last week.
I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yes, that's Brad Maddox. And then he would smile at you and just be like, "No, get out of here."
Although Brad Maddox was so corporate today, he's like all prim and proper in his suit and crap.
He was.
He won the belt.
Like I said last week. Like I said last week, which Jim said now, I like the fact he doesn't seem like he wants to do evil. He's doing evil, but by genuinely trying to do nice things. That makes him so adorable.
It does. Yeah. It does. Let's see. Things on Raw that I didn't like.
Everything else for the last 3 minutes, for the last 3 hours.
For the most part, yeah. Unfortunately, there was not a whole lot of highlights on that show. I'm sorry to say.
What you need is some sort of highlight reel to return.
I know. I did like the fact that Orton gave Kofi a chance. That was nice of him.
I have to say, I did like Goldust coming out with his actual entrance for once with the wig and the robe.
Yes, that was pretty. I'll give credit for that. That was pretty awesome. I like the fact they won the tag titles. Yes. New tag team champions, Rhodes Dynasty.
Totally called that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if the Rhodes Dynasty are now the tag team champions, does that mean that fucking what the hell's his name?
Richter?
No.
Yes. Tensai.
Marcus?
No, the guy, the wrestler, the guy that got fired, the British Bulldog son.
Davey Hart Smith?
Yeah, I think David Hart Smith's gonna return to Tyson Kidd, so the Hart Dynasty can fight the Rhodes Dynasty.
that would be awesome, but I don't think they'd do that.
No. I also do have to say I did like the Big Show's run-in of I'm gonna try to disaster kick you. I'm gonna duck it. Pow! No, you're not. I was like, ow.
Yeah, pretty much.
I need to be able to do that in WWE 2K14 if I still have my knockout punch.
Awesome.
If one of you's on the ropes, boom.
I'm also gonna even like the Big Show knocking Triple H out.
Yes.
That was good.
Wasn't it the week before?
No, that was this past week. They won the tag titles off that. Because he came out, he knocked all the Shield members out, then they won the tag titles, and then he knocked Triple H out.
I thought you knocked Triple H out last week, because I thought this
week
you're right.
It
ended with Triple H raging.
You're right, this week he knocked it. It ended with Triple H with a scowl on his face, and yet not showing any emotion somehow.
Yeah, that was odd. He came out completely pissed off that the Shield had lost the titles, yet elected to do absolutely nothing about it when both Goldust and Cody Rhodes were still in the ring when he hit the ring.
Just to make the joke, I have to. We all have to. I know. Don't you just hate people that don't show emotion, James?
That is funny.
Yeah. Join me next week when I'm on the TNA podcast.
Yeah. And speaking of your knockout punch, Mole, just quickly here, I believe I was talking to Richter a little bit earlier, and yesterday, and we were talking about the possibility of like a create a tag team mode, which we would really like. Probably would never happen, but it'd be awesome. A tag team finisher, and we were talking about pairing things. I don't know how we got onto it, but got onto pairing things up with James Phoenix doing a monkey flip to start it.
Yeah.
And I said the most devastating one in my mind would be James does the monkey flip into you knockout punching someone out of midair.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If we have that mode, the move I'd want for when I'm teaming with the Crispy, I want to run, jump and do a spear, and jump and do an RKO at the same time he's spearing the guy. So we like break his ribs, spine, and head all at once. It's like, oh
my god.
And the one I said would probably kill someone is if James teamed with Crispy, where he monkey flips, and as he's doing the monkey flips, Crispy jumps in the air, grabs him, and drops into a pedigree.
That'd be awesome. Like I said, I think the idea of a spear RKO combo would just be fucking devastating, because one's forcing him one way, one's going the other. One's targeting the ribs, the other's targeting the neck. That guy's dead.
Goddamn targeting.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I think the best combo would be I monkey flip the dude. I don't know. I guess Mole can do it, but anybody with appropriate size. I monkey flip the dude. He lands on the other guy's shoulders and then power bomb.
After you do my spear and RKO combo, that's how you unlock Paul Heyman's scooter. And Vicky Guerrero's neck brace for your CAW.
There you go.
Nice.
But yes, I think that does it for the week.
Paul Heyman's scooter has interchangeable logos with the people power logo.
Oh god.
Yeah, or custom logos. We can put the XPound X on the wheel.
There you go.
Like Marcus said, I think that does it for the week. Let's go on to improving the business.
Indeed.
Fire Triple H.
Take us away, Richter Hammer.
What I think they could do?
Hammer.
Not necessarily what you thought they could do.
It's up
to you. I just thought you were the host, so you segue instead of us jumping over your segue and just writing you out of existence like you don't care. You're not Jim. It's not
to have his roster.
I'm gonna get cogged.
Yeah, like I said, you're not Jim, so it's not nice taking your segments.
There you go. All right. So,
what do you think of the state of WWE today, and basically how realistic ways you would improve it?
And Jim just totally took your segment. Good job, Jim. Burying you're Triple H now. You're burying your own employees. What the hell, dude?
You buried my division.
We have a bold division?
Yes, there was a bold division. You wouldn't know it because it got buried. But
don't worry, Marcus. In about 2 years, you'll be there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Don't worry, I'll send your division out with dignity. Your last division champion will be a bald leprechaun.
When did Crispy lose his hair? Woo, Irish joke.
Give it 4 more years.
Yeah, he'll hate me for that.
4 more years and 1 more match.
Anyway.
And I will apologize because Marcus has a lovely head of hair.
What?
Well, when I make bald jokes at you don't like them, so I'm apologizing and saying you have a lovely head of hair. It's you should do shampoo commercials.
Hey.
I want to touch it. Can I touch it?
Okay, we're not going to touch that one, Mr. Hammer.
All right. So...
Can't touch this.
Yeah, Mr. Hammer, may I touch Marcus's hair? You're the host.
Yes, you may.
Can I stroke him?
Can I stroke his hair while going, you got a purdy mouth?
So wait, does that mean? So does that mean we reverse Jerry Springer in it, and now the bald guy's the host, and you rub the head of the non-bald guy?
Technically, the bald guy from Jerry Springer had a spin-off.
He does. He has the Mark Wilco show.
Does he still have that, actually?
Wait, he has the Mark something show. Wasn't his name Steve?
Yeah, I thought it was the
Steve
Wilco
show. You're right. Oh. Wrong guy. Yeah, Steve Wilco.
Why the hell would he take someone else's name for his show?
I don't know.
Wow, he's not completely off base. We haven't even started the discussion yet.
Sorry, Victor, take us away.
That's how we can improve Raw, Jerry Springer. Anyway, yes, the discussion topic for this week is how we think that they could steps they could do to realistically improve Raw, because it's obviously going downhill. So, whoever wants to jump in, feel free.
I'll go first, just because I mentioned my stuff earlier today, and I don't want someone else to take my stuff. I want Triple H. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like Triple H and Orton to be used like Edge and Jericho were, where they're the tag team, but actually have them put on, like, maybe make them a tag team champions because they were part of Evolution, and then make them actually compete with people like the Usos and stuff like that. Make them compete in really close matches that make those tag teams seem credible, while still making Triple H and Orton champion for a while, because you got a heel group, you got the belts on them. It instantly makes the tag team division credible and, well, a division instead of what it is now.
Triple H making something credible in your dreams.
I'd like to see that. I'd also like to see the women's division move from being all about AJ to focusing on the divas that can wrestle, and focusing on that aspect so the divas division improves. I'd also like SmackDown to go live on a Tuesday, and then that way WWE will care more, because, well, idiots on the internet aren't going to read all the spoilers and be like, oh, I've read it, it's exactly the same as watching it.
I can agree with that.
They were my basic ones. I didn't want to do all mine at once, because otherwise I might take one or do someone else's ones. So one of you guys go.
I don't honestly have anything at the moment. No, so someone else go. I'm gonna think. Jim, Richter.
Oh, I want to throw out a suggestion I read I read in somebody's article online the other day. I apologize, whoever you are. I cannot remember your name. I had a list of interesting things that should be done immediately to improve Raw. One that I really liked the idea of was to break up the 3 hours of Raw in order to appease to two sets of fans. Given that Raw is 3 hours and doesn't typically end until 11:15, the majority of kids should probably be in bed by then. So the suggestion was made that what should happen is the first 2 hours of Raw should be a standard Raw show. It's all your standard PG matches, you build your storylines, and you end the second hour with your big John Cena main event match for the kids. And then at that point in time, cut over to Michael Cole, and Michael Cole says, all right, we'd like to remind you that for the remaining hour of Raw, the show will no longer be at a PG rating. We're going to go up to a TV-14. If you have any kids watching, they should be put to bed at this time. The following is not appropriate for children. And have the third hour be stuff that's a little more oriented toward that adult male fan that built the WWE in the first place. That's where you have your broad panties match, you have your Extreme Rules match, you have your promos that might have a little more profanity in them, stuff like that. That way you could have both your PG rating for your kids programming and all that, while still having that little bit of time to appeal to your older fans, so they have a reason to watch.
I like that idea, actually. Because I don't. Well, your time Raw ends at 11, right?
11:15, yeah.
Yeah, like if you have a kid under, like, I don't know, 10 or so that's up at 10, like, damn.
Yeah.
No more Pepsi for them.
The flip side to that would be it go back into the Attitude Era stuff of profanity, violence, and sex does not a good match make. But the other thing with that would be...
But it's good entertainment.
But the other thing on that would be, that'd be kind of dickish. Because the last hour of Raw would be the main event. Therefore, kids wouldn't get to see their John Cena's and stuff with a title. Therefore, kids aren't going to care who has the title. Because they're never seeing the main event.
Yeah, they are, because like I said, what I'm saying is at the end of your second hour, you have the main event for kids. You have your big John Cena match, whatever, and then you just have your other stuff and maybe have an Extreme Rules match or whatever as the main event of the third hour. Effectively, you treat it as if it's two shows that just happen to be connected. The first show runs from 8 to 10, and at 10 o'clock you have your John Cena match, whatever, and run that out at 10 o'clock, and that ends against portion. They get their John Cena title match, whatever, and then at the end you have your hour of whatever else gets stuck on there, and that's something you can't do. Like I said, your bra and panties, your maybe a little extra profanity promos, your Extreme Rules match, whatever, but all the important stuff that kids need to see, the PG stuff, has already happened earlier in the night. The only time that wouldn't apply would be a go-home Raw before a pay-per-view, in which case, obviously, the whole thing would be dedicated to building the pay-per-view, so you might not have your hour of your adult hour that particular week.
Yes, like I said, my thing with that was the extra hour. Anything that happens in that will have to be needed to see to watch the pay-per-views, or if it's pointless, there's no purpose behind it. That essentially makes it like TNA, where they don't have a load of purpose behind what they do. They're just doing weapons and shit because they can. That was the only flip side. It would be cool for a lot of people, but I think it may actually hurt it as well, because not everyone can enjoy every aspect leading into a pay-per-view.
And then they'd have to.
They don't.
Mole is right.
Now.
They'd have to restructure the pay-per-view. Because then they'd have to have the PG section of the pay-per-view and then the not PG section of the pay-per-view. I don't know if that.
Well, not necessarily, because in the pay-per-views they still do shit like, at pay-per-views it would be whatever they put out there. Because at pay-per-views, if you're paying $40 to let your kids watch it, then that's on you, and WWE's not responsible for what you let your kids see on a damn pay-per-view. So remember, these are the events where Brock Lesnar breaks John Cena's goddamn nose and spews blood all over the damn arena. These are the events where freaking where the extreme shit tends to go on. That's where they go a little more toward stuff they wouldn't normally do on the TV, because they know it's on pay-per-view and they can get away with more. So as a result of that, that's the pay-per-views would be, it is what it is. If there's a mixture of whatever, so be it. That's on the heads of whoever's buying pay-per-views or whatnot.
Well, also less children actually watch the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Children kind of watch the pay-per-views, but I was saying they also kind of did the same thing on Raw. Triple H busted Lesnar wide open, and it wasn't like the first segment or two.
I don't know.
Like when he came out, he rammed him into the post, and Lesnar didn't put his arm up to make it look harder, so it busted him open. Because obviously they're not allowed to blade now.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
I do remember that. Yeah, it might have been earlier on in the night.
Yep, which it's weird, because like we discussed in the past, can you think of any feud Lesnar's been in since he's been back that didn't involve blood?
Nope.
Nope.
He's Lesnar. He wouldn't be legitimate if his feuds didn't involve blood.
And Triple H pissing his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, Triple H pissing his pants.
Yeah. So I just think it's an interesting concept that would help kind of break things up a little bit and appeal. Because the thing is, there's a lot of kids that watch the product, yes, but contrary to all these people that scream statistics of, oh, it's majority kids, it's actually not. The audience is still majority that adult male fan that they used to appeal, that they built up during the Attitude Era and the later years thereafter. That's still the primary audience. They just try to ignore that fact and build up that kids are the primary audience.
Actually, I would say the opposite from the statistic you read us.
What statistic?
The opposite, the one you read us, said more adults watch it now, that it's not all like, well, the Jerry Springer show, than they did during the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was watched more by teens and kids than it was adults, which means doing it now is pleasing more adult people, because more adults are watching it.
No, it's not. You have to realize why more adults are watching it. Because their kids are watching it. Number one. And number two, because a lot of the adults that are watching it? They're us. We were those teens.
We were those teens, but at the same time, I was also the kid that watched it before the Attitude Era.
True, you're one of the unique ones that's been watching it forever. But for a lot of us, we were the teens that got into it in the Attitude Era, and because of Vince McMahon and his brilliant business strategy that worked, we now fucking watch it no matter how shit it is. And as a result, that's why because he has that teen audience that he built up that still watches it no matter how shit it is, plus all the new adults that are watching it because their kids are into it.
Yes, and you also have the people my age or slightly older than me that have watched it pre-Attitude Era that didn't like the Attitude Era. I mean, I liked the Attitude Era.
But you still watched through it.
I watched through the Attitude Era.
So you've been just as brainwashed as the rest of us.
I watched through the Attitude Era because when I was a teen, it was kind of coolish. But at the same time, I didn't like it as much as, like I mentioned, my favorite era was when it was like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels going at it and stuff.
Yeah, the kiddie era.
No, the era where they cared more about wrestling than they did about Jerry Springer stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. The 80s stuff was more like kiddie stuff.
I'm not about 80s, I'm about late 80s, early 90s. Not when it was like Doink, when the focus was on like the new generations, like Bret Hart with the first King of the Ring. And
the early Attitude Era.
No, the Attitude Era was later when they went from let's put Bret Hart in a matchup where he shows off his wrestling skill in a tournament that shows off his wrestling skill to, yeah, let's make him go against someone that drinks beer and sticks up the finger because kids like people that go fuck, or kids like people to say shit. Oh my God, it's so edgy and cutting edge.
The guy that gives his glasses to kids is not Kitty. We got it.
Mm.
During the Attitude Era, you had Rey Mysterio giving his mask to kids. How's that less Kitty?
Because it's Rey Mysterio.
That's just true.
Yeah.
No, but the older stuff was Kitty stuff, so.
I agree, the Doink era was kiddie stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, the Attitude Era, in my opinion, was more kiddie because
it was more teen. It was more teen, not kiddie, I would say.
Yeah, it was more like the Jackass audience.
Yeah. It's more like the 13-year-olds. It's the like X-Men age when you first discover your powers.
Yeah.
Puberty?
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. It's the era where you want to just watch stuff like guys in shopping trolleys who've crashed into stuff on Jackass, which that's a little off topic, but bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to please everyone, and it comes down to, you know, what is selling the most, and I guess the statistics kind of conflict, I guess.
Yeah. Although there is one way they could please everyone.
What's that?
And possibly make themselves a shit ton of money.
Oh.
If they wanted to go the route James said. Why don't they just bring back ECW or something like that? A show similar to that? Or maybe make SmackDown that show? And make one show PG, like it is now, like Raw, which is the main one because that'll be the one to get the most people watching it. SmackDown as like the extreme one. And then do two separate pay-per-views like they used to have a Raw one and a SmackDown one. Therefore, you don't need to have seen everything to watch them. You can just watch SmackDown and then watch the SmackDown pay-per-view.
That would work.
Yeah, you could do
Although,
that.
admittedly, then we go back to the 24 fucking pay-per-views a month. or they can always alternate the pay-per-views like they did at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, I'd like to mention here, because I'm the king of looking shit up.
What's your opinion?
According to Wrestler Observer Newsletter, the current WWE audience by age looks like this. 22% are between the ages of 2 and 17, 23% is between the ages of 18 to 34, 26% is between the ages of 35 to 49, and 30% is age 50 or older, which means that a total of almost 80% of the audience is older than age 17. So, yeah.
That's what I said before.
Okay.
Anyway.
If the audience now is older, because you just said the statistics say more of them are over 17.
Yeah.
And as a result, why are we pandering to kids with a PG rating when 80% of the audience is still adults, and as the internet has shown us, most people fucking hate that.
It's the same reason that malls are filled with stores that appeal to teenagers who have no money.
They have allowance.
Not enough to afford all that crap. Not enough that they should fill 90% of malls with like Hot Topic and shit.
This is true.
I can agree with that.
See, now you're starting to sound like a father.
Yep.
Yeah, but
or an older person.
But
like
these damn kids stay out of my mall.
But like I said to you, Jim, and don't pull a that guy, as you guys pull the reference all the time. Don't pull a that guy and read off of people's shit. What's your opinion?
My opinion on one.
Yeah, my opinion of what?
The topic we were discussing of how to improve WWE without going to someone else's opinion. What's your opinion? How would you, James Phoenix, improve it?
Just because somebody else has an opinion doesn't mean more than one person can have the same opinion. Anyway.
It does if you say, I'm going to go with the idea I read from someone else. that means it's someone else's idea, and you just like, oh yeah, I'll use their idea.
What's his idea? That doesn't mean I don't agree. In my opinion, it isn't a good idea. In my opinion, it's a good idea. Anyway, let's see.
I can go first if you want to think.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. For me, I do this with a lot of things, but I would say that the two conflicting things is that one, I think they need to pick one of these. I'll say they either need to appeal to the core that they.
That was a terrible faction.
No, sorry, with one R. There, that better.
Oh, okay.
But they need to appeal to either the fans that got them to where they are, which are people around our age now, or they need to try to. This is going to conflict with what I say later, so don't worry. But or try to appeal to like the younger generation to try and create more people like us, people that grew up watching it and still watch it out of habit. But also at the same time, there's always a lot of parallels with like video game to me, like the industry. But I also think that as much as we like different eras, Chris liked the just before the Attitude Era, and I know Marcus and I like the Attitude Era and stuff. They need to not like they can make reference to it, but they need to like move on from that, because I don't think they can really grasp whatever stuff they had back in. They can do some stuff like it, but they need to not live off the success of that, because that's not going to help you grow, if that makes sense.
No, because that was lightning in a bottle. They're not going to capture it again.
And I know it sounds kind of conflicting to say, like, they need to move on and either appeal to the people that they did way back then or a little bit before them. But I think you can appeal to that, that type of that demographic without literally trying to copy it, Megaforce style, where like, oh, well, this one was a hit, we'll emulate it as much as possible. Like, no, it's like that happened, try to learn from it or do something different. You can't really just copy that and hope it works. That doesn't happen.
Yep, and as I pointed out in the past, it's the Attitude Era, like it or hate it, worked when it did, because that's how all the TV programming at that time was. Everything needed attitude, like Sonic had attitude and stuff like that. Nowadays, everyone's moved on from that. If you pull the attitude stuff now, like with even Sonic, if you pull the attitude style stuff with him, people don't want that. They want more of the nice Sonic from the old ones and stuff. It's like it was a product of its times, if that makes sense. It goes into what I was talking about with Marcus before we went on to this, when I mentioned it kind of amuses me where WWE fans are always like, TNA uses old storylines and stuff. Oh my god, WWE's rehashing the McMahon-Helmsley era. It's both new and exciting. It's like, no, they're rehashing stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, I believe in WWE it's a 3-month rule. Is that correct?
It normally is in wrestling. It's only a 3-month rule, and then they can move past it. Yeah. But the 3-month rule should not exist.
No, it shouldn't. That's why it's funny to me that like Orton's working with Triple H. Like, how did that pan out for you last time, Orton?
Yeah.
Like, you got a belt and then got your ass beaten and got it taken away.
Yes. I just see them again. Helmsley era teaming up with the Paul Heyman guys. They do this big Orton with the title. Ryback lifts him up, and then this thumbs down.
Yeah. We need to lampshade or parody this.
Shields fuse for the kill.
Yep.
I am Batista.
Yep. Like I said, we need to parody or lampshade this. 3 months from now, make a note. We will have the same topic. Yeah, I will have it again, and we'll just make out that who cares about the 3-month rule again? We'll mention it in 3 months' time. all of us being like, we decided to finally get together and do the topic you've all been waiting for.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. I think the thing is, in my opinion, I think the biggest issue is that basically WWE is trying to force its product to be something instead of naturally letting it be whatever it is going to be. And that's why I have an issue. In terms of the Attitude Era, okay, you're right. Okay, having, all the violence and Mick Foley getting slammed on thumbtacks and shit, that's not going to work. You're right. Nobody would go for that today. It's a product of the times. But what I do think is that WWE should not be intentionally forced to be PG either. Because the reason that all of those let's say those teens that watched the WWE and probably younger than that. I mean, let's face it, they were kids watching a lot of Attitude Era back then. We were kids watching Attitude Era back then. And the reason a lot of those, let's say, the 10 to 15 age range, let's say, watched the show, the reason they watched this and it had all this, it was on kind of late at night, it had blood and violence and half-naked women. The reason that it was appealing is because it was something they probably weren't supposed to be watching but they were watching it anyway, and that's what appeals. You have to realize kids and teens rebel, and they rebel against by doing things that they're not technically supposed to be doing. That's why when kids rebel against their parents, they go and get a piercing or a tattoo or buy a motorcycle, or they date people that their parents don't approve of, or what have you. Rick, you're going to get ready for all this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why I have my sword set, so I'm ready to polish it whenever boyfriends come over.
Which
Nice.
I will say, which always amuses me, that they want to prove they're a non-conformist by conforming with everyone else in their age.
Yeah.
I know it's ironic, but that was the reason it was so popular, is because it was something that wasn't necessarily geared toward that audience, and they liked it because they felt it was something they weren't necessarily supposed to be watching, but were watching it anyway. That's why they could watch this and be like, oh, dude, that's really violent and awesome. Oh, look, boobs. They could do that because it was something that they weren't necessarily supposed to be watching, and that's why it appealed to them. I think the problem is today, instead of letting it be whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be, a fucking, X-rated, oh, we're going to cut people, ECW cut people open, or X-rated, oh, we're going to have the divas walk out nude. No. But, let guys throw a shit or an ass out in a promo once in a while. Let a guy, not necessarily do it intentionally, but let a guy hit a guy with a weapon once in a while, in a match, and if he inadvertently starts bleeding, okay, it makes it look a little more realistic. Let the divas, once in a while, let them have like a little broad pants match, something to appeal to the older male audience once in a while, once every month or two. It's just something, not anything all the time. Let it just evolve and be what the product is going to be, see what's popular, just go with it, rather than trying to force it to conform to the PG rating. Because all you're doing by doing that is, okay, it's basically what you're doing that is really little kids who don't know any better up to, let's say, the 8 to 9 age are like, yay, John Cena, woo, hustle, loyalty, respect. They're all supporting of this whole the PG, our truth, what's up, all this. And they're, oh, look, it's Hornswoggle and the Great Khali, and they're all fine with that. But once they hit that 10, 12 age range, they realize, yeah, this is kind of lame and for kids. I'm not watching this anymore. And that's where you lose a lot of that audience. Whereas if they let the product be what it was going to be, maybe the super little kids wouldn't necessarily be all over it at first anymore, but you have a much wider array of audience, because once they got to that point, they'd be like, especially, and again, it goes back to if you had that extra hour, you'd be like, oh, this is part I wasn't supposed to watch it for. Now I can watch this. Oh, I'm not supposed to be watching this. You get a little bit of that back. And I think it will eventually go to something like that again, because it seems to me that the WWE goes through phases, if you will. Because remember, like Mo likes to talk about, in the earliest days of the WWE, it was truly the epitome of family programming. I mean, you would go to WWE and you would see people of all ages watching the show. You would, whenever I think of this, I always remember a particular promo that Undertaker did at one point, where he was talking to Hulk Hogan. And this was much later on. They were older guys by this point, where he talks about to Hulk Hogan. He says, "Remember, Hulk, remember back in the heyday, there'd be families in the arena, parents holding their kids up to get a glimpse of you so they could cheer you, families loving you, waving your colors. But then when I came out, the children cowered in fear behind their parents' legs." And all this, and he did that. I remember that was an awesome promo. But
not all children. I'll admit, when I saw Undertaker debut, I was like, holy fuck, I must watch this guy.
Yeah,
and he's been my favorite ever since.
Yeah, but Undertaker cut that promo and made the point, there were always families back then, and it was meant to be the the family programming of, oh, there's this big scary bad guy, but oh, here's the big red and yellow superhero, yeah. And it was a family programming. Then the family programming started waning. People weren't into the family programming anymore. It went back. It went into, oh, we need to be extreme. We need weapons and boobs. And it went into the extreme era. Now it's going to boobs, exactly. Boobs. And now, boobs, boobs. And now now it's going back into the family-oriented programming thing again, where we don't want our kids seeing things that are inappropriate. We want something that they can enjoy, that we feel is appropriate, that we can also kind of enjoy with them. So it's going back into the, look at me, I'm going to hold my kid up wearing a Cena shirt. We're going to root for John Cena, yeah. Oh, no, boo, here comes Ryback. Boo, he's an evil villain. It's going back to that whole family-oriented thing. But I think eventually it's going to get to that point where that'll wane out again, and not necessarily the 90s extreme way, but something else will come in that will replace it, I think.
Can you do me a favor, Marcus?
Mm-hmm.
If Richter ever holds his son up in a John Cena t-shirt, can you give his son the thumbs down?
I will gladly do that.
No, that's when Richter turned heel. He's the weekend dad. The WK gamer.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, that makes perfect sense, Jim. Like I said, it was a product of it. The Attitude Era was a product of its era. Right now, the era seems to be geared more towards people are watching shows. The ones that are the highest rated shows on the network seems to be stuff like Breaking Bad, Lost, and stuff. They seem to be more serialized stuff where you can keep tracks of all the storylines proper with deep storylines. WWE would never do this, and this one's unrealistic. But it would be cool if WWE said, okay, this guy who wrote this awesome show is now out of work, and hire that guy in for WWE and hire another one and stuff and say, okay, these are the characters, this is how they interact, write us the story, and then get the stories, and then give it to someone like Michael Hayes or someone who can then turn it into a wrestling storyline by including the matches they need and stuff. So essentially you get the big drawn out storylines where it's not like, okay, yeah, this storyline's going to be over by this time next year. I don't care. It's going to be a storyline where this could keep going for like years or something because they could keep building upon it or it's changing stuff or interlooping it. You care about the characters. You care about the continuity.
That would be cool. That would be cool. But the problem is that sort of storytelling doesn't necessarily lend itself well to the WWE because you're trying to tell this big overarching story of these are the past events, and then you have to somehow work in big show face heel turning every 2 weeks.
Yep, you do, but you could easily do. I mean, I point you over to a TV show named Charmed.
Never saw it.
I know Marcus watched it, so I figured he'd probably get the reference.
Awesome show until they got rid of Shannon Doherty.
Yep. How many times did the character, which was awesome until they crapped over him when they made him turn people into water coolers, how awesome was Cole when he was constantly heel face the revolving door?
He was my favorite character on the show.
Yeah, like when he's like, okay, he's a good guy, and they bring him up, and he's like, whoa, and just fucking takes out that circle and becomes the source. It's awesome. They need. You could easily do a face heel turn like that if you did it right. WWE's problem is they don't give a shit about Big Show or Kane. They're like, fuck it, they'll be what we want them to be.
Exactly. And then Vince is like, I'm gonna go out and be whatever the hell. If I'm gonna go and be a good guy, I'm gonna be a good guy. God damn it, I don't care if I've been a bad guy for 6 months.
Exactly, which I'd like to see the storyline stuff, but since he's been quiet, and I know we've all gone, have you decided yet, Marcus?
Yes, I have.
You tell.
And you're all right.
Wow.
What WWE needs to do is realize that their programming needs to be what programming is today. And I know Richter used a lot of game analogies. I'm the movie guy. I'm going to use movie analogies. What is popular in movies today? What it makes a good movie today? It's
big ass robots destroying each other with a lot of
fuck's sake, Kane's gonna come back in a realistic Nolanized version of himself, isn't he, in like Batman armor?
That'd be awesome, but no.
Swear to me.
That'd be awesome. I would watch that, but no. But no, it's number one. The one thing that WWE doesn't have, and primarily it's because Triple H is in charge, is
competent leadership.
I know where he's going for this. Movies and something WWE doesn't have. At the end of this storyline with Daniel Bryan, when he's finally defeated the Shield and stuff like that, you want Samuel Jackson to appear and be like, do you want me to show you the real Shield? Would you like to see the Avengers Initiative?
That'd be awesome. But no, they need to have good storylines. They need to have cerebral, smart storylines. They don't have that. And they kind of had that during the Attitude Era, but not so much. Because as I believe it was Jim said, each era was a product of its time. The Attitude Era was a product of the late 80s, 90s. What was big back in the 80s and 90s? Big hair, big explosions, big action stars, like Schwarzenegger and fucking Stallone and Bruce Willis and stuff. That's what was popular back then. And that's what WWE did because that's what was big back then. A lot of flash. Little substance, a lot of flash. But now, wrestling fans, WWE fans, like moviegoers, are more sophisticated. They're not going for the flash. That's why you have terms of like Bay explosions, and for you Power Rangers fans, Kalish explosions. Because
Can I interject one little thing?
Yeah.
Moviegoers are more sophisticated. Grown Ups 2 just came out like this month.
I said moviegoers. I didn't say movie creators. But I mean, if you look at
Rob Snyder is Paul Bearer.
I mean, if you look at what... Wow.
You can do it. Pin him.
Wait, did I just hear right? Did Marcus continue speaking and realize what I said and was like,
Yes,
wow.
he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, wow.
You can do it, my Undertaker!
Ben Affleck will return as Owen Hart.
Wow.
This is the Blue Blazer.
There you go.
But
no, I mean,
he returned to the game Owen Hart to feud with Triple H.
There you go. I mean, nowadays with movies, it's all about the smart, intelligent scripts. It's all about the talent. It's all about who's a good actor and actress, not putting out someone who can get by and do the job. It's who's the best person for the job and letting them do what they do and letting them do it well. WWE doesn't do that. They I can't remember which one of you said it. I think it might have been Mole. To the Mole or Jim said that WWE forces the stuff down on you, forces these gimmicks on these superstars. A lot of the times, not all the times. Let them do what they do. Let them do what they do best. And the big thing is, make it about the skill, because that's what people in this day and age want to see. They want to see intelligent storylines, and they want to see in-ring skill. They don't necessarily want to see the boobs, I mean, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, tits. But that's about all it is. No, give us women that can actually fucking wrestle. Yep. Give us intelligent storylines surrounding the women that can fucking wrestle.
Yep. And I was giggling only when you said that, only because I was the one that said product of our time, and you credited Jim. Jim said forcing stuff upon people, and you credited me, which means it balanced out. It balanced out, so it's all good.
But yeah, I realize that's what they need to do. They need to make WWE a product of its time. It's not. It's a product of Vince McMahon's own ego. That's what it is. That's why it's failing. That's why it sucks.
I will say both you and Richter with the analogies kind of hit the nail on the head with one thing about our times right now.
What's that?
And WWE kind of is doing this, but not enough. I think James knows where I'm going with this. What is this era right now, James?
This era, last I checked, was this not the WWE Universe era?
I meant in terms of films and games. In terms of the products we see on TV, in terms of video games and everything like that, like Lara Croft has recently been reimagined as a realistic version of herself. Batman, they took away the supernatural and made him realistic.
I see where you're going. They need to reboot WWE.
No, not reboot it. Right now, everything is geared more towards reality-based stuff. It's like a great era, in my opinion, for wrestling was the Ruthless Aggression era, which was just after the Attitude, where they moved away from the swearing and profanity for the sake of it and moved into stuff like Biker Taker and stuff like that, where it was more realistic. And WWE kind of did this. Raw, we had them address the fact Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella were together, and they used that. So it seemed a little bit realistic, although they then ruined it with how they portrayed it. But we had CM Punk on the top of the stage in a Stone Cold t-shirt address the fact, yeah, WWE does all this and blah, blah, blah. I'm a Paul Heyman guy and stuff before Paul Heyman was in the company. That felt real. WWE needs to do that. WWE needs to make everything more realistic. It's like Kane and Undertaker, as much as I like Kane and Undertaker having the supernatural, they need to go into slightly Attitude Era territory and but more Ruthless Aggression era. We need Taker to return with a bike. We need Taker to return with a bike, or at least admit that his supernatural powers are just stage shows. We need Kane to be similar-ish. We need him to, like, Biker Taker. He was a dude on a bike that could cut a normal promo. Like, what? Okay, he's like, okay, if you sleep with your sister, say what? What? Boo. It was awesome. You wouldn't get Undertaker do that now. And if Undertaker's retiring soon as well, the Biker Taker lends itself to him to do promos and return. You see where I'm going with this, with the more realistic stuff, where if they make every character more believable, or at least Nolanize it, where it may be unrealistic, but you've got a realistic approach to it, I think that would be a great product for our era.
Yeah. Also, with this era, WWE needs to get its head out of its ass and listen to the fans, because what I realized WWE has been doing, and you told me this, Mole, they're basically taking anything that starts to become good and kills it. How the fuck do you expect to sell a product if you kill anything that creates buzz about it?
Yup, like Fandango.
Fandango. That's exactly where I was going with that. It's like, Fandangoing became a thing. God Save the Queen, because of the Brits. With cha 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 la la cha cha, and then WWE ran it into the fucking ground.
Yeah,
even though that was their biggest money maker in the past decade.
I will say, like Fandango, take Fandango for example. I would say he's geared more to what I had in mind in the realistic thing, because he comes out and he dances and stuff, but from what they've said, he's a guy that just loves ballroom dancing. Whereas in the Attitude Era, let's say, you had like Val Venus and he was meant to be a world famous porn star. Yeah, he's not been in any porn that I've seen. Or you had,
You're watching
porn. or even the era before that, if Richter remembers, because I know Richter's a little older. Do you remember, what the hell was his name? Like The Dude or whatever, where he had like the WWE guitar where he could play the music and he was meant to be a famous rocker, and we'd never heard of him. At least now they're doing the element of it's more realistic with how Fandango is approached. It's like, I may not like John Cena. I don't like John Cena at all, but at least right now he has some element of realism about him besides his Superman part. His character right now is pretty much Cena as Cena. That makes him more realistic than when he comes out and raps, which if you make everyone more realistic, like let CM Punk speak his mind, let Daniel Bryan speak their mind, you know what I mean? How about Goldust? Take Goldust, Marcus, and instead of bringing him back with Darth Maul face paint, what if we brought Goldust back and he had like the mask he had on the YouTube one where it's like the Goldust face paint and stuff, because he's gone basically more insane and stuff, because he sort of doesn't want to be the Goldust character, but that's all he's remembered for. Sort of like what WCW tried with Seven, but good. Because it stands to reason, if let's face it, if Cody Rhodes is pissed off about his dad wearing polka dots, it stands to reason Goldust would be pissed off with how WWE's made him dress over the years. He should be playing that character that resents them for what they've done to him. He should be like the man trying to rebuild his life. That'd be kind of interesting.
It would be.
Also, the other thing too that they did, and that ties into all this too, is, as much as I know you don't like him, Zack Ryder. They had a fucking gold mine with Zack Ryder. You want to talk about realism? He was doing internet shows and stuff, that his real life stuff and stuff he was doing outside the thing. He made his own fucking title, for God's sake. The internet title. The instant that took off, what did WWE do? They fucking killed it. It's like, well,
they fed him to make Cena more popular, like they
exactly. And then they killed what Ryder had going. It's like if WWE had taken it and run with it instead of killing it, my God, Zack Ryder would be immensely popular, and they'd probably have a legitimate title in their hands, because they could probably have taken the internet title and made it legitimate. Because as much as people don't like how the internet title looks and stuff, let's face it, this is the internet generation. It's the perfect title for this generation of WWE.
It's the perfect title for the pre-show matches.
but they can make it legitimate.
Yeah.
They
fun
could.
Fun fact, that suggestion was actually also on that list I read of have the internet title defended on all YouTube pre-show matches.
Yes.
Hilarious. But I was going to say, it's a case of, with Zack Ryder, I'll admit I didn't like him. However, I will admit WWE shouldn't have killed him, because he was pretty popular. However, I would have liked his character more if his character had been The Miz in the same type of role. Because the one reason I didn't like Zack Ryder in the internet thing role is the woo woo woo, you know it. He came across as a complete poser.
Yeah.
That didn't feel real. If he had been like The Miz now, or even The Miz when he first debuted, of hoorah, that would have worked a lot more for Zack Ryder, if that made sense. If he wasn't as much like fake Tanner and stuff like that, if he was a little bit more realistic version of that, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Take care, slick your hair.
Well, hell, since everyone seems to be doing it on YouTube, including us, hi folks, if anyone's listening to this, why don't you have someone like Zack Ryder make him more realistic or whatever, but under a fake YouTube account owned by WWE? What if you had someone who constantly reviewed the shows and gave their opinions to the fans, and then you introduced him as a wrestler, because Triple H and stuff is like, okay, you know what? You want to say you can do better than us? Come on out and prove it, and build him up as an underdog, so that we, the wrestling fans, like, wait, they're punishing him for speaking his mind. I want to see where this guy goes. That'd be a cool little character, I think.
Yep.
What does Rick think? Rick's going on quiet.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I just with with that in that ballpark to me, I think that it's funny that they go to YouTube and make shows, and they try to integrate Twitter and what the hell was the video one?
Tumblr.
No, they had
Tout.
Tout. Thank you. Yeah. They like try to integrate that stuff, like, oh look, fans can be part of the show, and then when fans suggest stuff, they ignore it. Yeah. And when fans make something popular, like Fandangoing, Shudder, or Zack Ryder, then they're like, oh okay, and then they kill it, and it's just like, no, it feels really arrogant that like the fans are like, oh yeah, we like this stuff, and they're like, well, we didn't make that, so that you don't really want it, and it's like, no, they do. It's funny that they're trying to like work fans in, but then don't care what they actually think, and that's like, maybe if they actually tried to take constructive criticism from it and care about what people think, they could use that to refine the product instead of just ignoring it and doing whatever they want.
The biggest hypocrisy is what Jim mentioned, was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where WWE app, you can get all this crap on there and you can vote exclusively on stuff on the shows. And it's like, no, we don't care what you voted for. This is what we want to do on the show. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So exactly. Our vote doesn't matter?
Yeah, exactly.
See, when I will say, and if this is a political related, no offense meant, I'm just saying it because it's kind of funny, of when Richter said that, tell me you know what I was thinking of, Richter.
Nope.
The way you worded that, I was thinking, so WWE is basically Obama saying, you didn't build that. That's what it sounded like to me, the way you worded it. It's like, you didn't build that, we must destroy it. Admittedly, Obama didn't say, I must destroy it, and then do a hand grasp like I did off camera. But the whole, you didn't build that, it makes me laugh when WWE does pull that crap of, you didn't build that. The fans don't make WWE, I make WWE. That annoys me.
If you're talking about destroying stuff, I don't know why you're not talking about Bush, but okay, whatever. We'll move on.
The other thing that pisses me off, too, is that they blatantly lie on national television for the sake of these supposed ratings that aren't coming out of anywhere. Where they have the people in charge, like Vince McMahon or Triple H. Triple H is notorious for this since he's been in power of, the WWE is bigger than Triple H. It's bigger than Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The WWE is all about the WWE universe. It's all about you, the people. And then they turn around and like, no, I'm doing what's best for business. Fuck you all. It's like, what?
Yep.
Well, when they say it's bigger than one person, they're speaking the truth, but they don't actually care or listen.
No, it's not. It's all about one person. It's the exact opposite.
Yep. Which that was kind of funny. Like I said, I did apologize for the political comment. It just sounded, the way you worded it, of, yeah, we didn't want you to make that sound like, yeah, you didn't build that. I was like, okay, it kind of works as a political reference, despite the fact, like I said, he didn't do the evil grasping or try and destroy anything the fans want. In fact, he actually listened to people. Hence the Death Star comment. Death Star, he got props for the Death Star for me. After WWE needs a Death Star with a giant nose and a sledgehammer.
They already have. He cuts 20-minute promos about himself.
He does. We should make a drinking game. Drink every time Triple H. Drink for every minute Triple H does a promo on himself.
Yes.
There you go.
And then
drink every time the Divas division is ruined.
Oh my God, we'd be drunk after the first night.
We need to do that and film it. I don't drink, so I don't know what it'd do, but it'd be funny.
If it's a last man standing match, drink every time Cena jumps to his feet on 9 and runs in the ring.
If the main event doesn't have an actual finish, chug.
Yeah. It's like I know James likes him. When they brought back Jericho, I will say, the epitome of what I was talking about with the realism, I liked what they did with Jericho when they brought him back recently, where he's more like, he's not Y2J Jericho. He's not the guy in the suit Jericho. He's basically Jericho, the slight element of a rock star to him.
He's himself.
And he's himself doing, okay, he's throwing back to some of the older stuff of his catchphrases and stuff, which is fine. It's his catchphrases. But at the same time, he felt more like an actual rock star with how they did him, which that felt real. Like you said, it's himself. That's kind of cool.
Yep. Well, it is the reality era. What's more real than, the people standing out there?
Yeah, it's like, it's more real to me. See, especially when you've seen him speak and stuff like that. I mean, I understand it's also real seeing him as a monster, but it's more real when Big Show's faced, because I know for a fact Paul White loves, from what he said in all the interviews, even when he's heel, he loves having fun. He's a comical guy backstage, so it's fun seeing Big Show have fun out there instead of being, I'm bigger than you, you must die.
Well, it is, and that was proven when they did The Rock as the special guest host for Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Big Show was hilarious.
He was.
Oh my god.
He was.
When I saw that, I was like, dude, they need to do more comedy stuff with him. He's awesome.
Yes. And then they gave you what the hell was it? It wasn't Knuckleheads. What the hell? It was also Knuckleheads. The Big Show film.
Oh, that movie.
Knucklehead, yeah.
I was talking about in the ring, not on the
Yeah.
show.
Well, yeah, I liked when he did the like Shokishi, like when he would do a parody of somebody. I thought those were kind of Shonan the Barbarian, stuff like that.
It's
Yeah.
like
It was like an extension of.
Yep. It's like I will say that's something WWE does wrong at the moment.
What's that?
They concentrate too much on their films.
Mm.
I mean, they're not doing it as much as they were like a year ago or 2 years ago much. But I'm sorry, I didn't care that, okay, this guy's taking time off to go film a film. I'm like, no, make him wrestle. He's a wrestler. If you want to make films, but hire, I don't know, a little thing I like to call actors.
Yeah. That is too. You're true. That is true, Mole. You're right. They focus. I think they're focusing, especially in this day and age, they're focusing on too many things other than the wrestling, because they have their movie studio, which, to be honest, is complete shit. And then.
Not looking forward to Hornswoggle as the Leprechaun.
Oh God.
Is that real?
No. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. He's the Leprechaun in Leprechaun Origins.
Yeah, when they reboot the Leprechaun movie with Hornswoggle. I want to see it because the first Hornswoggle film, or the first Leprechaun films were bad in an enjoyable way. This has to be enjoyable. It's so bad.
But what I was gonna say is that they're just okay. Now I lost my train of thought.
They were focused on two of many things.
Oh yes.
Besides
So if you think about it too, we'll think back to the beginning of this year. I think they were so focused on trying to get their network off the ground, which epically failed, that they didn't focus enough on the wrestling side of it, and it completely tanked.
Yep.
They're trying to do too many things. It's I could make a comparison, but I'm not going to because Jim would kill me. But they're trying to focus on too many things, and they're stretching themselves thin. And then instead of blaming who they should be blaming, which is the people in charge, they're blaming the other people that are below them and firing them because saving face.
Yep.
And it's like, no. Look at the people in charge. Look at Vince. Look at Triple H. There's your problem. Pure and simple. That's your problem, in a nutshell.
What do you think, Jim?
I agree. I think Vince and Triple H certainly are a big part of the problem. The fact that they're basically, like I said, they're doing what we used the analogy earlier for those of you that are familiar with some of our other endeavors that most of us are affiliated with. I used the Saban Megaforce reference earlier. Is that their idea of success is take what worked in the past. In this case, it's what used to work back during the Hogan day, and just do it again, the same and harder, and faster and more intense.
Pretty much, yeah. They're Michael Baying it at this point.
And they don't understand. No, it doesn't work. The audience is there, and you can't just do the same from back then and expect it to work. It doesn't work. I also think that in relation to the reality thing was mentioned earlier, it's a valid point, and I think that was a big thing. Because you remember, when CM Punk was what they needed to do, and they let it go.
Mm-hmm. They did, unfortunately. They dropped the ball.
Because CM Punk cutting that promo on Raw that one week, CM Punk taking the title and leaving, and then like showing up at that convention and mocking Triple H in the middle of his own panel.
Yep.
That was funny. All that shit. That basically
They made it real.
Yeah,
I was going to say one thing on the Saban Megaforce thing.
Yes. Fair enough. Anyway, and that's the thing is, yes, back in the day, wrestling was beloved, and even during the Attitude Era, wrestling was beloved because people, unless you were in the Attitude Era and you turned on Nitro first, you turned in to find out what was going to happen. And that's the thing is that today, everybody fucking knows every little thing that's happening because internet.
Yeah.
So everybody is now a smark. It's that there are no marks anymore except for little kids. There's no marks. And there's no really truly smart people, because unless you're in the business, you can't truly be a smart. So everybody is a smart now, and they think they know everything that's going on. So nobody's surprised by anything. There's nothing unexpected, and people, they watch it, but they're bored and it's stupid, which is the biggest problem. And when they were doing a lot of this punk stuff, there was that. There was one point where they actually put a thing on the corporate website that was part of the storyline at one point to try to convince people something was real, and that's the problem. Is they need, you're right, it's like they need to make it seem real again. Is they need to get rid of that line between K-fob and the real world. They need to blur it in so you can't tell what's K-fob and what's not anymore. They need to start making it hard, making shit seem like realistic. Start using put shit on the corporate website. Have people cut promos on the internet. Have shit going on. Make it seem like it's real, and stop making it obviously K-fob, and people will tune in because they won't know what's real and what's not real. Just like they're doing it unintentionally to a point now, because nowadays if a ref throws up an X, you don't know if that's a real injury or if that's a storyline X. You don't know.
Yep.
And so that's the if they started blurring these lines, just let the superstars go, you wouldn't know what was real and what wasn't real, and that would make it interesting. Let CM Punk come out and start talking trash about TNA. Let whatever, let it or Ring of Honor. Talk about Ring of Honor. Let them come out and talk about what I'm talking about. And do what they got to do.
You know what they should do? I just thought
What?
about this, and I'm surprised WWE hasn't thought about it, because it'd be genius, and it would do exactly what needs to be done, which is to take advantage of the internet generation.
Well, then you just listed all the reasons exactly why they want to do it.
You want Grumpy Cat to be GM?
Ha!
No, he wants Yan Cat to be GM.
No, you want to blur the line between K-pop and reality. You want to make this more real. Follow CM Punk's example. Take it out of the ring. What you do is between the shows, you do little like YouTube vignettes or like tout vignettes and stuff, and you do stuff showing stuff out in the real world. Like, for instance, if there happens to be a convention, you could do a video of that. But if not, you could say, have a video of them in like a bar or something. And if you do it right, set it up so that it looks realistic, so that you don't know, okay, was this set up or is this something that just, because they're not in the ring.
I agree. You know what would have been a perfect use to do that?
What's that?
Oh, I know where he's going with it.
What was that?
I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
I don't know if you are or not, but I was going to say, why didn't they do the obvious thing that I'm surprised they didn't do to make it more realistic?
What's that?
When The Rock was filming with John Cena, when people film like films being filmed on set, how awesome would it have been if we'd seen John Cena in a normal everyday t-shirt and jeans, no shorts or anything, come from like the extra lineup or where the audience normally is, and just deck The Rock in the face during his film and leak it online? So it seems like, wait,
awesome.
so The Rock's filming like on the G.I. Joe 2 he was filming at the time. During one of his scenes, you see Cena just run on and punch him in the face, and security pulls Cena back. Yeah. That would have made it seem so much real. Like, oh wait, what just happened on set? John Cena just punched The Rock on the set of this film.
No, if you want to make it realistic, don't have like random generic security guards, because that never looks realistic anytime that he ever does it. What you do is he runs out, he punches The Rock in the face, and then freaking Channing Tatum and Bruce Willis jump on his ass.
Yeah. But it's like I said, if you had like the security guards on the film jump on The Rock, or maybe some fake ones, if it's filmed via video camera and looks a little shitty quality, it gets leaked out, and just have someone like Bruce Willis address in an interview or something like, we just want to point out G.I. Joe is in no way affiliated with WWE. This incident will not be happening. Our film is currently taking measures to put up security. It does not happen again.
Yeah, just have somebody film it on like an iPhone or something.
Yeah, admit it. How awesome would that have been? I mean, I know Marcus likes The Rock. How awesome would that have been, Jeff, if they'd had like an assault on The Rock via satellite? But still,
that would have been awesome. The other thing they need to do is they need to take some of what they did in the past and again take it off the show. Like, for instance, like was it I think it was Triple H went to like Randy Orton's house during the time Randy Orton was terrorizing the McMahons or something like that. Or the infamous Brian Pillman's got a gun.
I was about to say Brian Pillman's got a gun. A lot more realistic.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff
wasn't his wife.
Yeah. But that kind of stuff, because they usually do it as part of the show. Take it out of the show and make it a leaked YouTube video.
Yeah.
I think that would work far more. It'd be far more effective in this day and age.
Yeah. In fact, Pillman's got a gun was a little too realistic, because the network didn't know they were going to do that.
Well, here's one that could be a little realistic near WrestleMania, however. What if Kane gets future endeavored? And they make it seem legitimate, like Kane literally gets future endeavored, something like he's dropped Triple H wrong, quote, on something like that, and Triple H has fired him. And then we get a promo of Kane with no mask that he puts on YouTube of, "Hi, this is Kane, and I'm on the property right now. I'm going to get help," and he's going to his brother's house, and it's Biker Taker in his normal getup in his house with Michelle McCool, with Kane like on camera asking him for help with like a handheld camera. It'd be fucking awesome for WrestleMania, but that's how Kane returns.
That'd be great.
Admittedly, it involves referring to him as Kane, or even have Undertaker say like, "What are you doing here, Glenn?" "Well, Mark," and just have him drop the actual names, which I know Undertaker doesn't like breaking kayfabe and shit, but it can sometimes it needs to be done.
And you could do it with Kane because everyone knows his real name.
They do, thanks to See No Evil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's him playing everyone's seen See No Evil.
That's true.
But that would make it more realistic if you're gonna have him without the mask and stuff, instead of saying he's Kane, say he, I can't even remember his name now, but
Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Glenn Jacobs. You may know me better as Kane, and I don't have a job, so therefore I don't have the mask. That's why I don't have the mask, and I'm going to go see my best friend here. Yeah, what are you doing here? Yeah, it's the Undertaker. I need his help.
It's
pretty much.
Why do you have a cell phone? Oh, god damn it, Glenn. Is this going to be on YouTube? Yeah. Yes, it is, Mark.
Yep.
Fine, come in.
Yep. Yeah. It's like, how much realistic would it have been? Do you remember when Shawn Michaels was fired from WWE?
Mm-hmm.
How about if WWE actually went the logical route when he was meant to be working in a restaurant or something, and he used his real name and it's a cross promotion or whatever, and we have him appear on adverts on TV using his real name, not Shawn Michaels. Advertising. Yes, I know, but I was saying advertising for McDonald's.
That'd be hilarious.
Advertising for McDonald's or Burger King or Subway or something like that. So he's using his real name and he's implying that you just have it leaked out, like have Triple H mention it or something on WWE just to take the piss of that's what he's doing now. I was like, you may have remembered me as one half of D-Generation X. Although this one's not going to be a sellout that goes to a fast food restaurant or something like that just to throw it away. So people think, wait, Sean's actually gone to Burger King or McDonald's or whatever to advertise because he has no job. He needs money.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the difference is though, Shawn Michaels is that being fired is not going to do that to Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels knows how to invest. He's not Scott Hall.
Really? He knows how to invest? Then why was he JBL's bitch?
Oh, touche.
Yeah, and then they could even get away with, just to make it seem more realistic, to explain away the camera stuff, that, like, say, for instance, Shawn Michaels gets fired, Triple H walks in and say he's the heel, he's got the camera crew set behind him. Shawn's like all pissed off, he's like, wait, is that a camera crew? He goes, yes it is, Shawn. You do realize WWE is all about the internet these days, right? It's like, oh no. Yeah, that's right. If you do anything, Shawn, it will be leaked to the internet. It will be on YouTube and all over the world. Yeah. It's like, damn it.
It's like, going by that same thing, they should totally rockstar it, shouldn't they, Rick? If you know where I'm getting with the rockstar it.
Uh-huh.
You film something like a normal guy with a camera or something, then have the wrestler notice and be like, get that fucking out of here, and you can bleep it or whenever when it goes on YouTube if you want to, or whatever, and just have them fucking deck the camera person so they go down with the camera, like you've seen like rock stars and movie stars do a million times. Like, fuck off, I'm off the record at this point. That would make me believe that was real.
Yep. And then you can have like debuts of people and not make it seem like a setup, because you could just have random dudes walking up off the street beating up this guy who's gotten fired but is still making life hell for the WWE. Like if Shawn Michaels is still wreaking havoc kind of with WWE, you could have the camera crew coming with Triple H and them saying all that stuff, and then like the Shield jumps in from behind or something, but they're not dressed in their like if they were like debuting, they'd be whatever. I think that'd be awesome. It'd be an interesting and new and fresh way to introduce new talent, and it would be believable if they did it right.
That would be. It would be. As it's my job to lampshade shit. Can I just point out one really funny and ironic thing with the production of this podcast?
What's that?
We wanted to go into the discussion of how to improve WWE as a whole, overall, and everything, because we didn't want it to be derailed from actual Raw, and we've derailed the conversation into reality. We've derailed the derailment. It's, as Richter would probably put it, it's derailception or some shit.
That's because we've realized reality is the way WWE needs to go if they want to fix shit.
Pretty much. But can I also
just technically tied very loosely?
Yeah.
But yes,
I just want to say two things for the record. Number one, I don't care. I really don't care if it is supposed to be a realistic guy's working at Burger King. Any promo with Shawn Michaels at a fast food restaurant needs to end with him super kicking a little girl in the face.
Or Ronald McDonald.
Or Ronald McDonald. That would, or no, he needs to squeeze that creepy ass Burger King in the face. That's who he needs
Jared.
Jared. Subway, yeah. And he's affiliated with WWE. They were sponsored by Subway for the longest time. He was in the front row like every week. That would work too.
Hey, Jared, you like the sweet onion chicken teriyaki, right? Yeah? Pow! Tell me, how does Sweet Chin music taste?
There you go.
Subway sandwich, new with spicy chicken. It's got that kick tone to it.
Beautiful. But yeah, that, and the second thing I was going to say was, in relation to I was just thinking about this in relation to the thing that you were saying earlier. You make a valid point, like, what if right now, we're always going on, and all of a sudden there was like somebody saw a video online, and it was like an on-set video from the set of Cena Evil 2, and we see Kane, we see Glenn Jacobs, he's got the hook, and he's doing the thing, and then, but he doesn't look like he does it, but then as the scene ends, he looks like he's totally out of it and stumbling around, and then you just pan to the right, and then you just see the Wyatt's not, he's not in the goat mask or the Hawaiian shirt or anything, and they're just standing there like, that's right, Glenn, we own you now. He just looks like, screw you, Husky. He just walks away.
Nice. Slightly off topic, but you know what I'd like to kind of see Kane do on the set of See No Evil once?
What?
I'd like to see him break character and then start to talk. And since I've seen him talk in interviews and shit when he's not part of doing them for WWE, and he's really articulate and stuff, he needs to cut character. He needs to basically do two characters. Once he's been acting as Kane, he's like, he's all fierce. The second that cut ends, he now needs to start talking like Damien Sandow. Like, oh yes, good sir. Do you think that take was quite adequate, or do you think I need to go more Shakespearean with my delivery? That would be
camera pans to the right. You just see Damien Sandow with his jaw wide open.
Yep. It's like when we talk about the realistic thing. I know not everyone here watched it. WCW. Mm-hmm. They kind of had it right at one point. You guys may have seen it on the WWE archives or whatever, but who remembers the first NWO parking lot brawl thing, where like Kevin Nash picks up Rey Mysterio, tosses him into the van like a dart. He just goes boom off the truck. It was so realistic that people nearby and people watching at home who saw it called the police to the arena thinking it was an actual gang attack. That's how realistic they made it look. And I'm like, that's awesome. And like Bischoff himself said, when that happened, he realized they had lightning. The second that happened, he's like, yes, we've struck gold at this point. Everything after this is just gravy.
Is that the one I've seen where it was so damn dark you couldn't see anything on the video footage?
Yeah, because it was at night. They were outside. They made it dark so that you wouldn't be able to see stuff. They didn't light it properly, so you thought it was actually happening outside. You just saw a bunch of dudes beating each other up, and you could tell who was who, but it looked realistic. Whereas now, like Randy Orton v Daniel Bryan on Raw, like I mentioned, the Brie Bella integration worked. It was realistic. But then the second Orton attacked Bryan and started to pose and it looked fake.
This is true, but I do think we need to make a very important point here. If we're going to be promoting this thing, WWE needs to do reality, and that's the point that if WWE's going to do this whole reality thing, they do need to embrace reality, but they need to embrace reality correctly, because they had the idea, hey, we should embrace reality and we should say, the real world, what's going on with these superstars, and we got total divas.
Yep. Which I don't mind that.
But that's different. We're not saying show us them in their quote-unquote real lives. We're saying show it to us in the context of the show, but not on the show.
Yeah, it's like, for example, to use Marcus's analogy of movies, Christian Bale as Batman up until The Dark Knight, when it was, but yeah, forgetting that bit before anyone makes the inevitable joke, he was a realistic Batman. You believed everything he did was realistic. However, that's not Christian Bale swearing because some guy took his lights down or interfered with the lighting during the filming of Terminator. It's two different incidences. It's like, we want to buy him as Bruce Wayne. We don't want to hear him with, what the fuck is wrong with you? You just walk around in the background all la-dee-da. No, we didn't need that. Although I would totally, absolutely love it if a same clip like that leaked from WWE of like Randy Orton bitching at one of the guys he's working with, doing like Kofi or something, just to parody that a bit. If like from the actual like training, something like in a gym training, it gets leaked online of, no, Kofi, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That'd be awesome.
You're not selling it right.
He like throws his phone at him.
And what on you, Triple H? Why you just sat there allowing this? Just sat on the bench, oh, la-di-da, and pumping muscles. Well, great for you. Fucking get over it and do your job, Triple H. Do your motherfucking job. And see Randy Orton showing emotion. I would love it.
He just flips a treadmill over.
Yeah, admit it though. If you saw him like have a breakdown because someone fucked something up like that, and it could go into an actual feud with Kofi, that would be interesting. Or whoever
that
was
would be
involved.
hilarious. You want that to be real? Like, I don't know. You want that to be really realistic, and I'm not saying necessarily go outside the realism, but you want this to be really realistic. You have Randy Orton in the gym working out, and you have him run into Ken Anderson.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but that'd be Ken Anderson having to get his job back.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, and the thing to mention is that they've done this reality thing in the past. They used to do this sort of out of the arena thing anymore. Like I watched the Attitude Era DVD. I reviewed it not too long ago. Currently available on the XPound. And there was a point they showed a promo in there where the APA was having a feud with who the hell was it? The Hollies? I think it was the Hollies. Anyway, they were having a feud. They were having a tag team title feud. And we saw the APA at the arena, and they were drinking beer and playing cards. And they, I think the Hollies and a bunch of dudes went to a bar, and they were at this bar hanging out and having a party. And the APA saw them on the monitor, and they said, "All right, you know what? I think it's time we go out for some more drinks, Fruit. I do believe you're right, Bradshaw." And they left, and they went to the same bar, and they were sitting there pretending to have drinks, or whatever. And they pretended they noticed the Hollies, and it was like the Hollies were actually just hanging out at the bar, and not, we're not with the, at work, that they were just hanging out at the bar with some friends, and the AP just showed up and beat the shit out of them.
That'd be awesome. It's like WWE. So you go.
Yeah, I understand. I remember that they used to do these kind of realistic things where guys would be, would be places outside the arena, and it would be like they didn't know, just places where they didn't think they were gonna, what they weren't supposedly at work, and it shit happened. Off the top of my head, best instance ever. Austin beats the shit out of Booker T in a supermarket.
Yes.
Which cost WWE thousands and thousands more than it should have.
Probably, but that was still one of the most amazing things that has ever happened. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like Booker T's like, you just grocery shop. Like, I'm not grocery shopping. What? Surprise!
Yep, I agree. It's like, realistic-wise, how awesome was that matchup I showed you from WCW of Steven Regal versus Fit Finlay?
That was
when they were
match.
In the car park match where they made it look real with like deliberately punching the car and stuff to bust their hands open.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to do some of the realism thing, but then they kill it by trying to keep things kayfabe. Cough, gold dust, cough.
I agree. It's like I'll tell you something from the Attitude Era, kind of, that they could bring back for the realism, which would be kind of awesome.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to debut you want to kind of debut a superstar, or you want to return a superstar, or repackage a superstar? What if we had a superstar doing sort of like the GTV thing, but going to the element where the superstar can actually deck him? What if we had one guy constantly following the wrestlers around with a camera, reporting for a news site, like a fake news site WWE starts up just for the sole purpose of this guy? And have him follow the wrestlers around in real life with a camcorder, like, hey, and he's like following them around. He's like asking them questions that the fans are actually genuinely asking, or something like, hey, Goldberg, Brock, how does it feel to be involved in the worst ever matchup from WrestleMania? Or something like that, which leads to like Goldberg fucking punching him and just being like, fuck off, kid. It'd be kind of awesome.
Excuse me, Shane Helms, WWE News.
You don't know who I am. Woo, woo, woo. I'm secret.
No, like going back to yesterday's Raw of the Big Show run-in, they half did that right. Because one of the other biggest problems... What's that?
Well, more like a brisk walk-in.
Fair enough. Well, he's supposed to be menacing. But the thing is, a lot of this brings me to the other thing that really pisses me off when they try to do the realistic person's been fired angle. They're supposed to be fired. They shouldn't have a Titantron and theme music.
I agree.
And Big Show did not have any of that. He just kind of showed up, kicked ass, and left. Now, the thing that they did wrong with that, if they wanted to make it realistic, he should have been chased by security. And they should have had security hop the rail with him and like try to hold him back and stuff like that to make it seem a little bit more legitimate that he just kind of showed up and did this and security's trying to hold him back.
Yeah, that would make sense. But then you have to go be careful with the other direction of that because okay, you don't give them theme music and whatnot, but you have to also make it seem like they're actually fired and not still show up every goddamn week while they're fired.
I agree. However, I will say the reality discussion. I think possibly with this discussion, I think it's time for Richter to bring it home and wrap it up. I just noticed I think we've been going over 2 hours.
It's a damn good topic. It's relevant to listen to.
Have fun,
People
Jim.
need to know.
Have fun, Jim.
I'm not editing. This is just going up. I don't care.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks. The CEO of XPound doesn't give a shit about the XPound.
To be fair, he doesn't need to edit it. It's radio. It's meant to be
number one.
live.
Number one is radio. Number two, live people.
Sure.
So basically, yeah, I'm gonna stick our opening on and put up our logo, and it's gonna be there. So.
And you're gonna cut the beginning of it.
Well, yes,
I would
the
hope
beginning
so.
and the end. The beginning
Anyway.
and the end will be cut.
Anyway, now
Okay.
we're just rambling on, Mr. Hammer.
Yes, we're rambling. So take it home, Hemingway.
Rambo. So you've heard some really good ideas for how WWE can make things better, make their product better. Are they going to listen? No, because we've discussed that too. Although they should.
No one's listening.
Yeah, no one's listening. But who knows? We may be the next Zack Ryder. Kidding.
Woo, woo, woo.
Wow. Perfect timing.
Synchronized wooing. Only here, folks, live. Banter.
Yes.
I will not make that a sound clip.
And I just
So-
also want to throw out one last thing.
Yes.
Schrodinger's toast.
Schrodinger's toast. The good old
Just-
days.
Just to cross-reference it with our other radio show.
Good God.
So I can't think of a better way to end it than synchronized wooing. So good night, everybody.